Good evening, it's the absent parent of this channel. We are lacking a bit of consistency. We're working on it. 1% better every day. Are we doing that? Not really, as is represented by the state of that plant, which is why it's not in the frame. But, so some housekeeping. This person, you've noticed. So it's time to water the plants. Probably a bit much. That was all over the wall. Did we mostly get the plant though? That's what we'll focus on. Yes, yeah, it's right near the power outlet. It's fine. Now that that's in order, I used to do a little series on this channel where I would get you guys to submit your most outlandish, craziest, whatever stories about your occupations or occupations. These are some examples, okay? This is what we're after. This is the mood board. That's what we're doing today, but with hairdressers, because one of you suggested it and I thought it would be interesting. But I've got quite a few stories submitted. One unfortunate theme in the previous, I don't know how long it's been since I've done one of these. A good bit. It's been a bit, but one thing that kept popping up in all of them was just poo stories. I don't know why, I don't know how. Everyone's jobs involved poo somehow. Fingers crossed. Hairdressers is the exception. I will be very upset. Oh, I'll be so mad if someone's done a shit at the hairdressers. Oh, it's really upsetting. And before we start, I have a clothing brand called Rift. That's where you can get this shirt. This is what the back looks like, and 50% of the profits are donated to the Australian Marine Conservation Society. They do a lot of work with our oceans in general, but especially the Great Barrier Reef, which is constantly under threat by multiple different things. I love the reef, so do many, many people. So if you want to help out and get a sick shirt in the process, all of that will be linked below. So what are we dealing with today? Life hack, don't watch the video and just read these comments. Yeah, but then you have to read. By the way, if you want to contribute to these stories, I do post them on the community tab of my channel, and you probably won't see that if you're not subscribed and don't have the bell on, so make sure you go and do those two things now. Follow me on Instagram as well if you want to while we're here. Hairdressing is different in Africa. I once walked in a barbershop as an 11-year-old and the hairdresser called me up to the counter and asked me to buy him groceries. I guess it is a bit different in Africa then. He said he was hungry and didn't eat breakfast, so he gave me some money to get him bananas and brekkie like I worked for him. Even though I did, I'm still confused by that story. Fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I'm a little lost, but fair enough.
I'd also be fairly confused, but I'm glad he got fed. I'm glad you were nice enough to do it. Good on you, mate. I was an apprentice, and one day this guy came in because he was getting married in literally less than a week, and his soon-to-be wife insisted that he had his hair done. He had long hair. I was assisting a senior at the time, and before I even turned the tap on to wash it, I felt this huge dreadlock in the back of his hair. I don't, for the love of fuck, know why I do this to myself. Of course it was gonna be gross. It's hair. The fuck is going on upstairs? So it took nearly an hour to try and get it out without chopping it off. Partner's orders. This partner sounds very, anyway. It was so smelly and greasy, and the dry slash dead skin, broken hair, and literal fluff just started to fall down immediately. We're like, oh. I was having a good day. No, I wasn't. I was having a very fair to average day before I read that. Second story, we love a sequel. We had a new client and she wanted bleach, so we did the usual consultation with her, including a test strand to ensure her hair would be okay with bleach. 10 minutes after finishing, I turn around and there's literally steam coming from her head. I went to take the foil off. I'm not a hairdresser. I don't think that's a good thing. Doesn't sound like the ideal circumstances in which you would want a client's hair to be, but that's just me. I went to take the foil off and it burnt me. Oh, that's a bit of bleach. I near dragged her over to the basin and asked if it was burning her, and she was calmly like, yeah, it's probably a bit warm. She's been studying a bit of Stoic philosophy or something, because that's undercutting it a little bit. Turns out she'd lied about the water she uses and actually lived out whoop whoop and only has access to hard water, but didn't want to say that because she didn't want to be refused service and she didn't think it'd be a big deal. Yeah, it seems like it was probably a big deal. Quite a large deal, sizable deal. It went green and lots melted out, but luckily it was mostly salvageable. Oh my god, salvageable, and we got it looking good. Happy ending. How? How did you get green slime to look good? Credit to you as a hairdresser though, good job. I have a shaved head. It grew out and I called up a place for a trim. I explained I had no hair and it would essentially be a men's version of a haircut. They were gonna charge me $110 because women's haircuts are just that much money, and it didn't matter how short my hair. What do you mean? There is an argument to be made for women's haircuts costing more because it's more hair, this and that, but at that point it's just sexism. It's just plain old pink tax. There's nothing. I'll do it for free. Give me some clippers and come over. I can't guarantee it'll look good, but it will be memorable, if not just from the trauma of witnessing me handling clippers, that's all. This was a good idea because surely hairdressers can't have poo stories, right? Let's fucking hope so. And you know what? Call to the devil and the devil will come. Look what we've done. We've manifested it. Teddy, you've got a very hard to pronounce name, but Teddy, you were responsible for this. This is on you, buddy, squarely on your shoulders. Well, someone had laid a massive one in the shop's toilet and then smeared it all over the walls and toilet. I'm sick of the world. We love a bit of creative flair, interior design, etc. That's something I will drink to forget. I don't like that. I cut my own hair for most of year 8 and thought I was the shit, but to be honest, I look like a dirty meatball. The image of a dirty meatball is beautiful. When I was younger, I thought a blowjob was a blow dry, and let's just say the hairdresser was very confused, as I am thoroughly sure they would be. What? Oh shit, I can only imagine how that conversation went down. Next time I might just get everyone to send in their most awkward interactions with shop assistants or anyone in general. I ain't a hairdresser, but I went to my barber and I went to get a good mullet. Halfway during my haircut, a bunch of eshays walked in and the barbers were having a mullet competition. Who could make the best mullet? And then we all got free haircuts. Fabulous, if true. I wish my hairdressing appointments went a little bit like that, but usually it's just them asking why I haven't been here in 12 months and that I need to look after this a little bit more than just one visit a year. Gotta love how most of these comments start with not a hairdresser, but it happens. I went to 4 different hairdressers in one day. Already wild. I hate the hairdressers. I don't hate hairdressers, but I hate going there. It's just not where I want to be ever. I went to 4 different hairdressers in one day so I can get my hair shoulder length, but they all did a crap job and I got mad easily, so I kept going to different ones. I don't understand this type of person at all. I'm most confused about how you can get mad easily and just stop and go to the next one. Like, no matter how bad of a job a hairdresser's ever done on my hair, I'm like, that looks great. I love it. It's the social stamina I find impressive. That's what I'll say. More embarrassing than anything, just started year 7 and my first high school photos were coming up. Anyway, I went for a haircut and to be frank, I looked like a sheepdog. I asked for a light trim, short back and sides. Instead, for some unknown reason, the hairdresser decided to shave all my hair off. I had to... What? Why? That's a lot. I had to have my first high school photo almost completely bald and I didn't even tell the hairdresser my school photos were the very next day. Instructions obviously weren't clear and she just shaved all your hair off. This isn't exactly what you asked for, but when I was in year 9, my mum offered to cut my hair the night before school photos. This is happening again. Sounds like a theme. Long story short, she cooked it so hard she had to shave it all off. Oh my god. You and the other guy should hang out. Still living down the nicknames to this day, some of which are Gandhi, Buzz Lightyear and Professor X. Oh my god, kids are ruthless. I had a hairdresser cut her hand instead of my... Oh, I thought she meant her hair. Let's start again. I had a hairdresser cut her hand instead of my hair once. Oh, that also is terrible. Like right in the webbing between your thumb and pointer. Not 100% sure how she managed it. Ew, nah. Probably because she wasn't looking at my hand when she was cutting. I erased that from my memory as well. That's physically painful. My cousin used to cut a former Married at First Sight cast member's mum's hair. Oh, that's a long journey from you to this person. Michael from 2019 to be specific. I don't know who that is. Sounds good for your mum's friend's cousin's dog's hairdresser. I don't... Well, good old Michael kept coming back, so obviously a pretty good hairdresser. And James correctly predicts this is gonna be awful in the best way. Yeah, unfortunately. Not a barber, but I used to cut some mate's hair in the backyard. Same thing. Basically the same thing. One bloke had dreadlocks for years and finally, I hate these stories, or I just have had one. This is the second, it's too many. Had dreadlocks for years and finally got sick of them. Cutting them off, seeing the absolute state of his scalp nearly made me vom, and I fucking... Okay, let's give this another go. Cakes of dried wax containing filth, mystery scabs, bro. Knots, dandruff, pubes, what? Yeah, fully. What the fuck? Get a massive bonce too. I don't even know what that is. A head? What's a fucking bonce? Yeah, it's a head. Great. Glad we're all on the same page. He had a massive bonce too, so there was a lot of them afterwards and his head looked like a manky big toe. Ugh. Good fucking Lord. Jesus Christ, I need to go to church. I want to bleach my entire body after reading that. That was awful. Thanks, Leo. Fucking Leo. I'm hoping there's no poo in this one, but knowing the human race, there probably will be. You know what? We thought we were safe. This is why my plants are dying. It's not from my neglect. Not a hairdresser, but my brother when he was 16 and going through his emo phase. Oh, I love it to bits. Hoping this was 2007 peak scene phase as well. This shit all over MySpace. Can't beat it. He went to get his hair cut. Like usual, he asked to have barely anything actually cut off. The hairdresser agreed and showed that he would only cut off about 1 centimeter or less, so it would keep its longish length. Yeah, that's never the case though, is it? They're like, yeah, this much, and then 1 meter later. Midway through the haircut, for some reason, the hairdresser had decided to cut off quite a bit of hair, but had only done it on one half of his head. My brother realized and got mad and stormed out mid-haircut. That's not gonna help. Went the next month with his hair extremely uneven. What? Until he finally returned to the same hairdresser and had the rest of it cut short. Also ending his emo phase, prematurely might I add. The stubbornness or perseverance, however you want to look at it, of your brother to just walk around the world with half his hair really short. Hey, you gotta respect it. Geez, well I think that just about sums it up. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry about the poo. If you're new here, we don't get haircuts, this is why. I also give shout outs at the end of every video to people who subscribe and put the bell on. This week's shout out goes to Nadia Snyder. Thank you guys for subscribing, commenting, existing in this part of the internet at all, / sending in your funny stories. I'm going to make some attempts to revive this plant. Until then, you won't be seeing it. Oh, that one's not looking good either.